Hello, viewers. Welcome to the Lungleng Show. Today I'm in Dimapur and I have Honorable MLA, Mr. Jwenga Seb, and he's, first time getting elected for the first time in 2023. And before that, he was an entrepreneur, an architect, and owning a firm, a proprietorship firm known as JS Architect and Associates, and that has really done wonderful works in the state of Nagaland. And his story, I'm particularly interested in how he came from rags to riches and now to politicians. His story, as far as I understand it, as far as I know, he came from a very, very poor background whose parents could not afford to send him to schools. But now, visiting him as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, his house and his mansion is one of the best that I have ever seen in terms of designs. And just to be honest, we are sitting here by the swimming pool, which is just beside his house. At the backyard of his house. I think life like this is a model, and life like this is a story that we can, deep dive in order to understand how he overcame challenges and how he became and how he becomes the person he is. And of course, just to mention again, remarkably, now he is representing Chemanyu constituency, and I'm more than glad and feeling so privileged. And I myself I'm looking forward to hearing more about his stories. And this kind of stories will be very motivating for me personally as well, and for the viewers. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, well, thank you, brother Lungleng, for visiting me and also for having me here in your TLS, or what do you call it?
Yeah,
The Lungleng Show.
Right.
So I'm honored and I'm glad that you have come. Yes.
Wonderful. So I'm visiting your place for the first time. Looking at how you are settled living here, it's very remarkable and it's quite inspiring, knowing the fact that you come from a very challenging background. And now you are a politician representing thousands of people from your constituency. Now, before we jump into that, I would like to trace your background a little bit on how you became the person you are today. So can you tell me the kind of the type of the family background that you came from? How was your family and your childhood, a little bit about your childhood?
Well, as you know, I have come from the village called Tesupanyu village. That is about 4 kilometers from the district headquarters, Chemanyu. And I have, including me, we have 10 siblings, 7 brothers, God's grace,
Right.
and 3 sisters. My mom and my dad, both of them are no more.
I see.
Yeah, that is the will of God. And both of them were just a mere agricultural cultivator.
Okay.
Sometimes we call them also as farmer. But when we say farmers are really rich people actually.
Yeah.
But the farmers, the agricultural farmers in the rural area, especially in the northeastern area, they cannot be referred to as the rich farmers. So such was the condition that even all of us could not afford to go to school initially. And by the time when I started schooling, most of my friends, they used to go to the Don Bosco school that is in Chemanyu. That is a private school, Catholic run school. But I had to get myself admitted, even though I desired and I wished to join my, peers to study in what they call it, a good school, private Don Bosco school. But I had to get myself admitted in lower primary school. We call it a primary school earlier.
The government school.
The government school. So like that, the journey, the education journey is such that from class A, B, during those days, it was AB, not a nursery. And,
right. Kindergarten.
Preparatory, and nothing was there.
Okay.
So class AB, then say 1, 2, I studied from, government primary school. And from class 3 to class 8, that is known as the middle high school, the GMS. That GMS also is in Tesupanyu village only. Now it has got upgraded to government high school. And then from class, class 9, 10, I got myself admitted in government high school Seminyo. That is the government higher secondary school. Unfortunately, I could get selected to study in the most prestigious college, the Kohima Science College, Josama.
Oh.
Yeah. So from there, again, I appeared this entrance exam, and then I got selected for the trade called architecture, the Bachelor of Architecture. And from there also, I got elected through government quota, and then I got admitted in the College of Engineering Trivandrum. That is the state of Kerala,
right,
under Kerala University. So why I'm saying this is, that is how, I started my journey. I mean, when it comes to my schooling, high school, and then college like that. Having said this, I mean to say that I could not have the opportunity to study in the private schools. But then I later on realized that, of course, the institutions also matters. But what matters is you yourself. If you have the burning desire, if you have the determination to learn, then you will have it. So like that, being from a very poor family background, my parents, both of them being a mere cultivator, they don't know even how to write their names also. So they have to use these thumb impressions even for government rations or whatever, whenever they get. And not only me, almost all of my brothers and sisters, they could not also be sent to, the government, the private schools. So that is how we have come. And by God's grace, it is not significant. But comparing to how I had started, and now what God has given me, the privilege, the opportunities, the position, it's all because of God.
Wow.
Right.
That's a beautiful story of how you had come. So as a child, in your student days,
right,
were you very kind of a intentionally very determined person, or were you not thinking much, but later on you turn out to be how you are? How did it work for you?
Yes. That is what I am saying. Actually, institutions is, I should say, not even 50%. The major part is you have to have determination. Even though your friends are studying in a very good schools, and I know the childhood days, I'm just digging back to my childhood days.
Yeah.
Even though you envy them, you wish that you also go with them, and then you got to study in town. Seminyo is a town. Even now it is a town. And then my village. So like that, sometimes, of course, I used to envy them. I also wanted to go out and study in a good schools like this, where they even converse when they come back to village during the summer vacation. They will start conversing in English language and all of that. And then been studying in the rural school, where our teachers, they hardly speak to us even in the language like we are using now.
Right.
So that used to be the thing, but it has never discouraged me, because I know I had the determination that one day or the other day I can also become like my peer groups. That's why I never used to get discouraged. And very importantly, my mom, she is, her faith in God was very strong. And then every time she will tell me that never lose heart, you will get it, you will be able to achieve what you wanted to become. So this is how determined I was that I'll be getting something someday with the grace of God. Yes.
So looking at your parents, or let's say your mom,
right?
Was that an inspiration? Like, one day I want to come back and make my mom a big house, make my mom to live in a very luxury place, to lift her out of how she was born and brought up and how she had been enduring. Was that also part of your motivation?
Yes. Actually, very unfortunately, I couldn't make a home for my mom. Sometimes I used to get emotional.
I can imagine.
But I think that is all how God speaks to us. My dad passed away in the year 1998 when I was just the second year BArch.
Okay.
And then my mom, after 5 years, I could finish my studies on time. And then coming back, of course, it was always at the back of my mind that I should build a very good house, a comfortable house for my mom. And all like that I was thinking. But at the same time, I also had to, take care of my
Siblings.
other 9 siblings. They were studying. So because of that, building a home for my mom was not at all possible at that time. And unfortunately, 10 years later, my mom also left us for her heavenly abode. And then while my mom was still alive, she used to, be worried about not being able to make a good decent graveyard for my dad also, because it was just
soil and stones.
It was just left unattended like that. Unattended in the sense it was not properly made with cemented and granite and all those
because
things.
you could not afford.
We could not afford. So for 5-6 years, my mom had been she had been insisting that I should at least make a decent graveyard for my father. But the situation was not really allowing. The situation wouldn't really allow. So it was only after 10 years my mom also left us. And only after my mom left, I had to make a cemetery, a decent cemetery, I should say, for them now. So that is the regret that I had.
True.
And I'll be carrying it for the rest of my life. That I could not build, a decent or say at least habitable, a habitable comfort home for my mom. But I hope God will forgive me, because it is not the negligence, but because of
it was out
institutions
of your hand.
that had compelled. Yes.
Now moving on, like when it comes to your education, who inspired you, and when did you decide that I should pursue architecture, the studies of architecture?
Yes. Actually, you see, everything happens, I believe, everything happens for good only. Initially, when I was filling up the form to apply for studying technical studies, my first, priority, the first choice was computer science. Those days, during our time, computer science was very, very popular. And everybody used to have a very high hope and expectation from computer. Of course, computer science still do, but those days it was like that. So my first priority, my first choice was for computer science. Second was architecture. So that time, fortunately, I could finish in any serial number, in the competition, then in locals list in the entrance test exam. So this locals list, I could, as per the entrance serial, I could finish in serial number 5 or 7 something. And computer science was having just just 5 seats only. So I was so much hoping that I'll get it, because computer seat availability is 5, and may not be all the serial number 1 to 5 applicants may not be, they may not have filled, all of them may not have filled that computer science as the first choice. So I was hoping 100% that I'll be getting it. But when the result was declared, to my surprise, I was not getting it. And instead of behind me, beyond serial number of 10 or so, one batchmate, one Chagasan lady, she got selected through backward, reservation. That is how, I did not get my, preference. But that is why I'm saying everything happens for good.
True.
And I had regretted a lot. I got so much discouraged. And then I got the chance to get into the second choice, that is architecture. But that was also not readily available. I was, instead of getting selected in first choice, if not the second choice, I was selected in mechanical engineering. And then mechanical engineering was not at all my choice. So what I did was, I go back to the dealing assistant of the higher technical education. And then when I show it to them that my first choice was computer science, second was architecture, third was civil engineering. Not even third, civil engineering, my name has been listed under mechanical engineering courses. So because of that, I went there, I complained, and then they said, then you prove by showing us the filled up form that was submitted. You just go to the room, to the storeroom, where all the forms were, piled up.
Okay.
So when I went there, I was, thinking that there is no chance of getting because thousands and thousands piled up in in a big storeroom.
Mm.
But then I did not lose hope, and then I just started picking one by one.
Mm.
After the third or fourth forms I picked, I got my form.
Okay.
And then there it was written first computer, second architecture, third civil engineering.
Okay.
So I went there, I took it to the director and also told him, you see, sir, mechanical engineering is not, it is not even my preference.
Oh.
But I was selected under this.
Okay.
So there must be something wrong, please recheck it. So when he rechecked and revisited, there was some clerical error.
Okay.
And for which it got corrected, and then that is how I got selected through architecture.
I see.
That was my first choice was computer engineering, to be very honest. But later on, why I put architecture as my second choice was that, I used to dream of building a beautiful house, especially churches, and that is how I had a little interest. From there, I asked some of my seniors, how will the architecture profession be? And from there, I got some tips and some ideas from them. So, TK, that is my second choice. And then, fortunately, the second choice turned out to be the blessed choice for me. So that is how I landed being an architect by profession.
Oh,
Right.
That's okay. I mean, you just moved on regardless of whether your computer science first priority was not selected. You moved on happily, and I think I believe that's very important in our life as well.
Yes.
Whatever that happens, if it is beyond your control, you have to just move on. If still in your control, you have to try again.
Yes.
And then after you study architecture, so you went to Trivandrum even to study architecture?
Right.
Okay, so what was the name of the course that you studied?
Bachelor of Architecture.
Bachelor of Architecture.
That is right, yeah.
Okay.
We call it BArch.
BR, right?
That is right.
And after that, you came home.
After that, I came home. I worked under my, boss, late architect Keken Rema. You must have heard of him.
Okay.
He was, like a godfather for me.
Uh-huh.
Those days, architectural profession is a very new profession in Nagaland.
Right.
And then also to get a job, a place in government sector was not possible.
Yeah.
So then he gave me a chance to, not only me, to my friend Logos. Both of us, we were working under him for about 2 years. While working with him, even though we were on payroll, we were so, much fortunate that he gave us just free hand.
Oh.
For the architects, especially the fresh architects, the firm will not risk giving them free hand because they may sometimes, when they bring a good name, that is it. If not, most of the time, fresh architects, if we hand over, if we give them freedom for like architectural, structural, everything, then being fresh, we may mess it up sometimes.
Right.
But taking all this risk, considering all of these things, he risked giving us the whole responsibility, and that is how we could, boldly, tread on our path. And that is how we get the experiences.
Yeah, and I'm sure when you work with him, you must be learning a lot about the landscape of architecture in Nagaland and the business prospect of architecture in Nagaland.
That is right.
So how did you realize that? When did you realize that, okay, there can be a big business opportunity in Nagaland? Because we think that there is no business opportunities in our state or in Northeast.
You see, that part is very interesting, to be very honest. Because you see, right after my graduation, almost...
Yeah, come a bit close.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
All my classmates, they were applying to go abroad. Like most of them, they landed in, Qatar, Dubai. Most of them in Canada, like that. Everybody wanted to go out and work outside initially, and come back, learned, But then when I come back to Nagaland, in the third year of our academic study, because the academic study of architecture requires a practical training under some established firm. So it was in the year 1999. I come back to Nagaland. I asked my boss, my mentor, lead architect Keken. I requested if I can join him and work under him as an apprentice, and that is how I got to work under him. and the views and vistas and the architecture and also the underdeveloped condition of our place is what got me attention. And then I thought, no, even if I go outside work in Dubai or in Qatar or Canada, even after 10 years of learning from outside construction systems, structural systems, and all of this, coming back home and working here is going to be a scratch for me. So that is why better start from scratch early from Nagaland, and then because from here even the construction systems are different.
Right.
Technically speaking, as you may be aware, our Nagaland, Northeast India is, the fifth risk zone under the seismic, regions.
Right.
So even the construction system, the structural system in Kerala, in Delhi, in South India, even North India is different, and Northeast India is totally different. So considering all the things, I thought it best to start early from Nagaland, learn from the from here early about the structural system, about how it should be, and about the soil condition, the undulating landscape, all of that. So because of that, I decided that I should, instead of going outside, I should come here early and start learning at early age. That was what had come into my mind. That is one. The other reason, the other factor why I end up without going, even though friends are going outside, without going outside straight away, come back home was the family, the family situations.
Yes.
That had compelled me to come back. But as I said, coming back to say everything happens for good. Yes, that is how we got started.
I like how you take it, your attitude towards the business opportunities here in Northeast. And when you look at business also, you took it in such a way that in Nagaland, if you have to come back later on also, you have to start from scratch. So
exactly.
If you join that earlier, so the
right.
The early birds get the worms.
Yes.
So you are technically applying that proverb.
Not all the worms, small worms.
Small worms. But people may come back later. But when you compare to the situation here, I think you had gone far away from. Far ahead of them. So now, and after that, I want to now particularly understand about your rise. From which point did you start rising? In terms of profits and financial strength.
Okay. Well, in architecture,
I think I would request,
Okay.
Yeah.
Closer. Yeah. Okay. You see, in architecture, like any other profession, there is no shortcut.
Okay.
You have to, start very hard. And you see, the clients, especially the clients who comes to you, you design a house for them, especially the private sector clients, church sector, the religious sector, and also the governmental sector clients. I did not get much opportunity to get government jobs, government projects, only later on, but initially I did not get any. So I started working with the clients who were also not very rich, but then I made it in such a way that their designs and their the budget should tally. Most of the local Nagas, not only Nagas but even many other people who wanted to get their house designed and built by the architect are apprehensive of being very costly. But actually, coming to an architect is not a costly affair.
Okay.
In fact, if you have low budget, you should come to architects and engineers.
Why is that?
Why? Because it'll avoid so much of wastages of your resources.
Okay.
You will have effective, functional house plans, and you will not unnecessarily waste space. And not wasting space means your build-up area is going to get reduced. And you will be building only what is required for you, and all the space utilization can be effective. So that is how, and that is why one should come to an architect if the budget is low. But the opposite is true here in Nagaland. Only when you have a lot of money, then you will consider calling an architect, get your house designed like I mentioned, but that is wrong.
Okay.
Yes. So that is how I started working with the lower income groups.
Okay.
And then Sometimes charitable works I have to give them. Of course, not anticipating the big work from them. But that is how, I work. In working closely with them, they keep coming back. So that is the beginning, If you have a client, and if you are able to, build up that kind of that rapport, which leave them wanting to come back, is when you are started. I mean, you have the step. I mean, the first step taken.
Very important.
So that is how you see.
Okay.
Arrogance. Our Nagas, whenever we become a professional, I'm not belittling, and excuse me if I have hurt anybody.
Not really.
But if you become an architect or an engineer or a doctor or an officer, that arrogance started sticking us.
Dismissive attitude.
Exactly. So that is how nobody wanted to talk. Nobody wanted to go to an arrogant people, an arrogant architect, an arrogant engineer, a doctor, like that.
Yeah.
So that is why if you can create a space and if you can leave a door open so that you have the client who will come to you for the next time. I think that is when you can make yourself sure that you are rising,
Very interesting.
Right.
Yes, I totally agree with you on the fact that the client's loyalty is very, very important. And just accept them and just make them feel come back. And I mean, building the trust, the process of building trust is what stands out in business also, I believe. So I mean, what did you do? Anything else that you did apart from just, I mean, how did you make them feel that you are you can be a trustworthy architect, or you can be a trustworthy kind of a consultant for them?
Yes. Like I said, you make them have confidence in you. Because you see, supposing when I said lower income group client, we may even mean that the grade 4 or maybe grade 3 for government employees who had accumulated over the years, 30, 40 years before their retirement. And then little by little they had accumulated it. And then when they retire, 10, 15 lakhs, 7, 8 lakhs is what they will be getting. With which the resources, the hard-earned money that they have been saving for 20, 30 years, they cannot just put it to anybody. They cannot trust with anybody.
True.
And at the same time, when they consider getting the design by an architect with a less amount of money, they cannot imagine, because it's not going to serve even a few pillars or few rooms. I mean, that is not going to be useful for that purpose. But then when I conveyed it to them, when I convince them, that make them see the reason why they should come to an architect, because it is cost effective. Building on your own and entrusting your hard-earned money to some what we call them head mysteries who doesn't have structural or engineering or architectural knowledge, but they had learned about constructions over the years. Simply putting your resources and entrusting it to them to build for you, it is not what you should be doing. So instead of that, bring to us, we will build it for you, and the amount doesn't matter for which you should go to an architect. Even to build a shed, even to build a garage, or even for that matter, even to build a granary, we should help the professional services. So telling them all of this, and then, like I said, our society comprises majorly of middle and lower income group, and once you can penetrate to this group of the market, then you get lots of work, even though it will be small. So that is how one client, the first satisfied client, will tell their success story to the other, and then to next. So that is how we gathered and we started getting the customers, regular customers. The numbers get increased. That is how we had started.
So your clients were mostly from the the middle class people, mostly.
Middle class people.
And you never got, you hardly got the chance to build a big project with the government, and
later part.
In the beginning part, right?
Yeah, later part only.
Later part only you started
Later part only started getting a bigger projects.
Okay, and were you not trying, or what? Was there any political influence?
we architects are not supposed to advertise our firm over the print media and anything like that. Yeah, it'll be the breach of the professional code of conduct.
Oh, is it?
The architects are, registered under Council of Architects.
Okay.
And the Council of Architects Act is an act enacted by the Parliament. So that is why this act is, applied pan India.
But what is the logic behind not?
You see, if one
ethical.
started advertising one's firm,
Okay.
instead of competing with quality, they will be bidding with prices.
Okay.
So supposing we both of us are an architect, even though my work is better, even though I work more diligent, more harder, you can, without doing anything, you can say, the Council of Architects Act prescribe minimum 5% of the project cost as architect's fee.
Okay.
And architects are not supposed to charge less than that. They can always charge more. This is to show that we are doing the work. The architects, the professionals are doing the work diligently. So we should be, competing with each other in terms of the quality of work and delivery, not by bidding the price. So even though, I'm coming back to this point, even though I do more work harder, and even though I work hard, I work harder than you, and even though you don't want to work, if you offer to give a client, instead of 5%, 1 or 2%, the clients will come to you.
Okay.
But the end result, the product, since you are not a very diligent or very hard-working architect, the product, the delivery is not going to be the same as I would have been doing. So in order to discourage, the architect professionals to bid each other in price, but to encourage, working diligently and working, competing in terms of qualities, not by price.
Okay. So
that is the reason why, we are not supposed to advertise the firm.
Okay.
And getting, high-end, big shot, clients solely depends on the contacts.
Yeah.
And then, as I told you, being from a very, low-income group, a family background, getting to know of, big shot contractors, businessmen, high-profile persons, high-profile citizens in the community is, initially it was very difficult. It was not there at all.
Yeah.
So that is how it started with, the lower-income groups, and then by showing them how we are capable of, delivering, and then some quality works. They see the designs, and that is how, maybe because of that we started getting even the high-profile clients. The customers also.
Right. Now,
yes.
to talk to you about entrepreneurship and your income and profits that you were making.
Right.
So are you saying that whatever you have right now, whatever you are, whoever you are right now, and whatever wealth you have accumulated from your business is solely from your architectural work, or do you have any source of income?
No, as an architect, construction industry is our line of the profession.
Absolutely.
So initially, as an architect, we come to, do the project report preparations. Come to, get in touch with some contractors and some companies, and that is how we slowly started, executing and taking up the work on turnkey basis. And now, when I say turnkey basis, means, as you know, we will design, we will execute, we will do the construction, and then
the whole thing.
The owner will simply give you, as per the requirements stage-wise, they will keep on depositing the money. And then at the end of, the construction duration, we simply have to give them key, inaugural. So headache-free.
Okay.
But to do that, need a lot of experiences, construction management, and all of this, so many people, expert hands are required to be put together to make one dream home come true.
Right.
So with that, we get a higher profit. Initially, we were getting 2-3% from the designs we do, but turnkey we used to get 10%, 15%. So that is a huge jump. That is how, and then slowly we also started getting government projects. One of the projects, like supposing the new DC office complex Jomogidima.
Yeah.
That was also one of our design,
Okay.
the government projects.
Okay.
That was, I think, a very long time back.
Yeah.
And then, like, interstate bus and truck terminus, Jomogidima. So these are the early governmental projects we started getting.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, you really have, how to say, really ignored all this kind of belief that, entrepreneurship cannot happen much big in a state like Nagaland because of various factors. There is a lack of customer clients, and there's a lack of awareness among the people for the need of a technical assistance, and there are people in the Naga national groups who will be live collecting taxes, I mean, illegally and all of this. But despite of all these factors, you were able to survive and thrive. Not just survive, you were able to thrive. And I think, how did you manage? I mean, in short, how did you manage with such challenges that came your way?
Yeah, actually, nothing is, as we know, and as you know, nothing is easy. And also, no sail is smooth.
True.
Everywhere there used to be rough road, rough weather. It's all the same everywhere. Like, I'll not say there is no opportunity, no business entrepreneurship opportunity in Nagaland. I will not say that.
Okay.
But comparatively, saturation point is easier. In Nagaland, once you get to a scale of supposing if we keep a scale of 1 to 9 or 1 to 10, the saturation point in other metro cities may be up to 9, 10, like that.
Okay.
But for the market of Nagaland, we can say maybe because of the population, maybe because of the size of the market, you can easily reach level 1, 2, 3. But by the time when you reach level 5, so to say, that is the saturation point. So it may not go very big like we can see how other entrepreneurs does in metro cities, in other mainland. But you see, there is the proportionate market potentialities even in our place. Every youth, everyone is saying, okay, Nagaland is plagued with unemployment, educated unemployment, and then so much of talks used to be there. And even till today, everybody talks about unemployment. But actually, there are so many employment opportunities, provided if you wanted to work.
Yeah.
If everybody started thinking of what we call it white collar job, the government job, then definitely there is no job. We can say there is no job. Job has already saturated. But the job is not only about government job. Job means it is everywhere in the market. So that is why, for those who doesn't want to work and simply want to get their salaries, their regular fixed income, we can say there is no job for them. But for those who really wanted to work, who wanted to sweat out, there are lots and lots of work. There are ample opportunities.
Here in the state?
Here in the state, yes. Yes, in private sector, agricultural sector, construction sector. You see, for example, our Nagaland state. How many percentage of the construction workers are the Nagas, locals?
Yeah. Sure.
Maybe 0.0001.
Maybe.
When we say Nagaland state is spending 20,000 or say 15,000 to 20,000 crore in construction industry, governmental sector, private sector, and everything put together, supposing if you say that, 60 to 70% of that resources, it is being sent out.
Right.
Because the wage earners will at least 20 to 25% of 15 to 20,000 crore in the construction industry go to the labor contractors. And where does it go? Others have come here. They are coming here. They earn from us. They go there. They build their house. They're mentioned there. Whereas even our people, those who doesn't have an income, but in case if they get a loan also, instead of doing it by themselves, doing it by ourselves, we will hire the outside local contractor. Simply sit and wait for them, let them work, let them earn, and then go away. So that is why I'm saying, for those who wanted to work, who wanted to sweat out, there are limitless opportunities.
That's very interesting.
Right.
Because like there are tens and thousands of houses being built every year.
Exactly.
And for example, the wiring electricity, the plumbers, and the painters.
That's what I'm saying.
Like if anybody wants to work, definitely there is a way.
Yeah.
Like it just requires us to just sweat out.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean that's. Now we have talked a lot about your your business. You know, I mean, for regarding your business, the last question would be: are you still looking forward to doing a bigger business? I mean, like, or do you think you are now completely turning away from business and looking to politics?
No. You see, architecture is my profession. I'm an architect by profession, and architecture is my passion. You know, even though I have joined politics for a reason, you know, I am still in touch constantly, I should say, with my architectural profession.
Okay.
My office is in full swing. In fact, we have strengthened the staff strength also.
Okay.
And we have, we are taking more private sector projects also. And mostly the churches projects. So I'm constantly in touch. And I cannot leave my, job as an architect.
Absolutely.
Every time, every moment I get my free time, I wanted to sketch. I wanted to, use my AutoCAD, and that is how, that is how close, how passionate I have become with my profession.
Very, very interesting.
Right.
So now your JS Architect and Associates.
That's right.
Your firm.
Yes.
Is it possible for you to let us know your annual turnover, or is it something that you want to keep it private?
You see, the turnover for an architectural firm is very low.
Achha.
So that is why I think it will not make any interesting, it will not. There will be no any interesting statement coming out from that.
Okay.
So I think I'll pass that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem at all.
Yeah.
Now, as a politician, you defeated our king,
Right.
who was like a veteran, who is a veteran politician, and he was there in the government as the minister of, advisor for one department.
That's right.
Right. So, what inspired you to get into politics, and what is it that you want to achieve? You want to deliver to the people, because there were many candidates who came from political backgrounds and who was a sitting MLA. You wanted to unseat them because you have a vision and plan for sure. What is it?
Well, everybody contests with a program, with an agenda.
Yeah.
So am I. You see, that was when our district, especially the Rengma community, we were yearning for a district. We were longing for a district. We were requesting our even elected representative was knocking each and every the minister's door. He was also working, but then the wait was very long. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm not saying he failed, but I was thinking that maybe if we also, are given a chance, perhaps we can work even harder. But because of that, because of not getting the district, my area, Tseminyu area was, totally, I should say, neglected developmentally.
Okay.
There was no development at all. And even if there is any developmental, programs and funds comes, visible developments and, all these substantial developments could not be seen. So I was not blaming the elected member, but I was thinking perhaps when it comes to developmental activities, when it comes to planning, district planning and all of that, I thought architects or engineers, if they were empowered, may do better. That is how I started, having my interest in entering politics, because I thought lately in the late 2010, 15 like that, I start working with ministers, legislators alike, and most of them, they used to have a plan, but then whenever we go and have a discussion about a particular project, most of them, even though they have a very good visions for the development, majority of them, are not very conversant with what the developmental activities are and how the state or for how a region, how a district should be developed.
Okay.
So thinking in that line, I used to think, if I were a minister or if I were, an advisor for this and that, I could have done at least something this and that. So this is how, after working with them, this is how I started thinking that when it comes to building construction, road construction, if I'm given a chance, if I'm empowered, maybe perhaps I may be able to do more. So that is what had, made me into thinking of entering politics. And I am not, saying that my predecessor did not do well.
Yeah.
But as I said, professionally, when we compare technocrats and then technical knowledge, technically conversant candidate, elected member
do better.
Do better. It was what I was thinking.
Okay.
But fortunately, during his time, Uncle R. King's time, the Nagaland government, under the able leadership of the Honorable Chief Minister Nipurio, and also his cabinet ministers were so considerate. They had granted a district. But then I had already entered the politics.
Yeah.
So no turning back for me. And then I also, requested my people. And then I shared with my vision about equitable development, about sustainable development, and about some, the necessity for change of the systems in terms of, socio-economic development.
Okay.
So with all of that, surprisingly, people voted for me, and I'm glad that God has given me, an opportunity. And also, I'm very thankful to my constituency people for reposing their faith, their trust on me, thinking that I'll do better for them. So with that, challenge I have right now, I wanted to develop. I wanted to at least try to reach the expectation of the people. Okay. That is what I'm trying to do now.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yes.
When you look at the scenario of politics, we see many people who are not well-to-do financially, they also join politics. And also, they would have to accumulate some funds, money from when they're in the government. But as an entrepreneur who has money of your own and who can self-fund all your campaigns and the election expenses, I want to know now, what was your election all self-funded? Or how did you manage to fund your election?
You see, election used to be a very costly affair in Nagaland.
Right.
The spending powers of the candidates has increased.
True.
And that was the first time for me. I was thinking, I also may have to, spend a lot of resources, money. And accordingly, I was a bit reluctant because when thinking about the spending powers of my opponents, the adversaries, political adversaries, then I thought it is going to be a very big, fight in terms of financial resources.
Yeah.
So because of that, when I thought about the apprehension, about the financial capabilities, the spending power, the limited spending power that I am, friends, well-wishers, relatives, they all started coming in, without saying, without asking.
Okay.
So that was a very big support from the well-wishers. And also, of course, we have, over the years, the hard-earned resources, because the intention was not to, accumulate the resources and contest election. But it was maybe all of a sudden, I should say, looking at the condition, the situation of the community, and then the left out rural villages, where the development and also the distributions were so much despair. There was no parity. So because of that, I started reaching out to everyone who have the same mind, who have of the same opinion that there should be a change of leadership in order to bring some change, positive change. So like that, some well-to-dos Even some are not even well-to-do, even wage earners. Even, you believe me, you will not believe me. I receive even 500 rupees in an envelope,
Okay, as a donation.
As a donation.
Okay.
So that is how people's love had made me elected to this constituency.
Wow,
Yes.
interesting. So thank you so much for sharing your stories, and I'm sure many people will feel benefited from this. I mean, especially for the youngsters, not in the political lens, mostly from the entrepreneurship lens and business lens. And
Yes.
thousands of youth who are thinking that there's no opportunity will find themselves in a position where they can venture many more opportunities. So thank you so much for your time and talking to us.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best for your
Thank you.
future plans.
Okay.
Thank you.